This has been the biggest challenge for me in my airbrush career. Ever since Mike LaValle's True Fire burst onto the scene, I've wanted to be able to recreate his awesome looking texture. My overconfidence in trying to be able to achieve this effect was soon humbled after the first time that I tried it. I didn't make the correct use of colour, the shapes looked poor, the design didn't flow, so I gave it a rest for 7 years. But thankfully last year a small voice in my head just said, why don't you try that True Fire technique again? It's been a long and frustrating journey, but today I'd like to give you a glimpse into the result that I've achieved using my very own fire texture technique, which I refer to as freehand flames, because I don't use any stencils to create it. So come along for the ride over the next couple of tutorials. I hope you learn a couple of new tricks and maybe pick up a couple of new techniques. Enjoy! You're going to need to set yourself up with a black surface that you can airbrush onto. All it is a super thick piece of paper, almost like cardboard. I've just put tape on the other side and stuck it to this piece of wood. If you'd like to incorporate an artwork of any kind into your flames, then you should first trace out the design using either a Chinograph or chalk-based pencil, just so that we can see it on the black. And now I'm just going to go in using that Badger Patriot, and I'm going to put on my first layer of pink. From those colours that you've just seen, we're going to be mixing up 3 secondary colours. So you're going to need an opaque white, a transparent red, yellow and blue. First, create a bright pink by adding 1 part white to 10 parts red. You're going to need to create a lemon yellow. This is about 1 part yellow to 3 parts white, and this will be the base for your orange and your yellow layers. And lastly, create your mid-orange color. This is going to be about 3 or 4 parts yellow to 1 part red. Incorporating an artwork into the flames requires a slightly different method than actually airbrushing the flames themselves. The main difference is the level of detail that you need. While I'm adding detail to the actual skull, you need only create the base shape and soft reflective design using the pink color that you've already mixed up. Just notice here how far I actually am from the canvas. I'm keeping a solid distance from the substrate so that the red layer appears soft, yet at the same time, I'm really laying this color down heavily. Thank you to my use of the Badger Patriot, I'm really able to lay this paint down quickly, and it speeds up the time that it takes to complete the entire artwork. You really need barely any detail in your flames until the final yellow layer. Every now and then you should look at adding a couple of little extra dagger strokes and lines just to chop things up a bit. Now the next step in creating our masterpiece is surprisingly simple. I'm just going to clean out the airbrush that I was just using. I'm going to put some of this transparent red straight into that Patriot, and I'm going to go over all of the bright pink on this artwork and transform it into a beautiful, bright, hot red. Time to put on a spray mask. Can you hear me clearly? Oh, good. At this stage, your end result should be a bright foundation with all of your red shapes in place and the basic body of a fire. Plus a few little lines here and there just to messy it up and add a little bit of ferocity to the flames. All this color is there for is to act as a base and to show the reflection of the rest of the flames, the hotter parts that we're going to create in consecutive tutorials. Just make sure that in this layer you're comfortable with how much of the red paint you have actually laid down, because this is your foundation for the rest of the artwork. Just make sure that you have enough of this red base color laid down for when you're doing your orange color layer. And that's exactly what we're going to be covering in part 2 of the Freehand Flames tutorials. Hey, as always, just thanks for watching, and don't forget that Airbrush Tutor's on Facebook. You can follow, keep up to date with all the latest stuff that happens. So just spread the love and just keep doing what you're doing, because your people are fantastic. Thank you for watching.